it is what you want that the mentor sees that guarantees whatever it is that you take home at the end of the day.
I need to unpack that.
Yes.
What people are getting it from all the angles.
How much time do we have?
I don't understand.
Almost everybody is just winging it. It's vibes and inshallah.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Anyway, let's keep going.
That
Continue.
Every crew member should read the script. You will know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Please, you did the right thing.
Yes. Always read the script.
It's hard though. Camera rolling. My camera was still off.
Control is important.
Is it your business?
First rule about men is that we don't talk about men.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, we tried.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
Hola.
Hola, hola. Look who we have here, you guys.
Full house.
Yes. You know.
We have AK Mason, the AK
But
Mason.
how did you change his name now? Are you now your government name?
No, well, I'm still making for now, but you know, as we go on, you know, when I clock like 30 something, I'll change to Tahibe Lozobe.
Wow.
But for now, I'm a young man. I'll play.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Are we introducing you as Uyi? Are we giving them your government name?
Government name, I beg.
Uyi Adia.
Yes.
And you know they're joining your
Uncles.
regulars, your
Yeah.
regular uncles.
us. Right.
Yes.
So
No,
well,
but
you know-
introduce them where?
no, hold on.
You know that we're a film industry. We have to be quick.
Hold on. Guys, look at the people that are with us. Directors. As
Toss.
Wow.
You give them those
all
echo.
right, guys. Seriously, this is an exciting episode for us, particularly because, you know, we have grown with these guys, to be honest. Seeing them when they started to where they are now, as directors in this film industry, aka the guy behind The Elevator Baby, Day of Destiny, DOD, to all of you.
Yes.
And the Inkblot film coming soon to cinema near you. Superstar.
Ladies introduce. Normally people do ladies first, but go on.
Oh, well, I'm
fine,
just
it's
doing
fine.
like this.
It's okay, it's alright.
And then we have Uyi. She's written so many things you guys have watched there. You've watched, you've loved, you've licked the screen. But you just did not know it was this humble lady over here. But beyond
trying.
that, see, this girl, she took control of Mecca the Criticism. Did you watch that
The new one.
thing? The old one, see her age.
Was she a fetus when she wrote the old one?
It becomes some Benjamin Button something.
Oh my God.
She's aging back. You were 40 in 1990.
Exactly.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness, but yes.
The math was wrong, but yes.
Uyi wrote and directed Naked.
No.
I wrote Neka the Pretty Serpent.
Oh,
Bars.
she only wrote. She didn't
Yes.
direct.
Yes, no.
Tosin
Oh.
Ego directed.
Tosin Ego
Neka
directed.
the
I'm
Pretty
so
Serpent.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't want to steal someone's credits, but no problem.
No, don't edit it. We shall. Zulu tried to steal credit. Yes. It's
I will steal credit for my babe
All
anytime.
these women people just
Thank
stealing.
I will still
Thank-
credit for
Thank you.
always.
Tosi will
Always
not be
and
coming for
forever.
you after this.
But yeah, Uyi is also the director of the Inkblot film coming to cinema near you. Charge and Bill.
Wow.
So together, they are the directors of the Inkblot 2021 theatrical slate.
Bam.
Yes.
Yes. So if you don't like our films this year, it's
them.
their fault.
Wow.
It's them. It's them.
Wow.
Let me
It's
tell
them.
you their handle.
At AK Mason.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Please,
no, no, no.
abusive. No, but
Seriously, we're so excited to have you guys on here. It's been so amazing seeing. I mean, we've worked with you from, you know, you started with Ant Hill as what were you even doing with them? I know you used to come on our projects.
Yeah, he was a
as
PA
BTS.
on. No, he was a PA on Out of Luck.
yeah,
On Out of Love.
Yeah, Out
Oh
of
yeah,
Love.
oh, so that's how we met you first.
Yes, he
as
struggled.
peers.
There's a picture of him looking just hungry. Even though we were all
hungry inside
looking
the
hungry. We were all looking hungry, but he was
Yes.
hungrier than most.
And then
Hey.
now
See your life outside.
See, thank God you don't look like a
and just
I
fast
mean-
forward.
Hey.
I mean,
Just fast forward a mere 5 years later. and here he is with three big films under his belt.
Wait,
August,
so one
August.
on Netflix that we've seen that has now undergone an Indian Bollywood remake,
Yes.
which was
Oh,
Elevator.
yes.
The second one is
Baby.
also going to be on Netflix by the time
And
this
then,
airs.
yes, and then
Are you
yes.
going to do placard again?
No.
You're now
placard,
you're
you
now
know?
too big for placard.
So
Can
let
you
me tell you what
imagine?
happened. AK went and sat down on the streets in Ojo Elegba, or one of those hood areas. Holding, please watch my film. I beg you in the name of God.
We'll find the clip. We'll find the clip and insert it into this video.
But that actually worked. I mean,
It
we were
did.
number one for a while.
Yeah, it was one of the highest, at least using at least by number of.
Anything you need to do to go get ahead.
Yeah, because
do
didn't
it.
they also mention it in the end of the year thing? They did now.
Yes.
Yes, it was one of the end of the year wrap up things. Elevator Baby.
Elevator Baby. You need to see it. Starring Timini and Toyin Abraham.
Yeah.
Directed by yours truly.
Yeah.
Built your own sets.
Yeah.
And
Shah is saying yeah.
You know, but that film, you know, it's one of the greatest experiences of my life. You know, when Mr. Ni came to me and said, "Oh, okay, yeah, what are you going to direct this year?" You know, he gave me like 4 or 5 scripts to read, and the Elevator, as it was called then, was one that jumped out at me, and I looked at it and I was like, "Okay, this is 52 pages of screenplay, but there's something here, you know." And he was like, "Okay, take it. If you can flesh it out, you know, I'll improve it. Yeah, I'll let you direct it." I was like, "Oh, cool." So yeah, I went with it. I came back with something and I was like, "Okay, cool. I like this. Fix this. Yeah, we did that. And then he said, "Okay, you're directing it." I'm like, wow.
And just
That's
like
because
that.
you had a co-writing credit on that, right?
Yeah. So the first draft, original draft was written by Yusuf Keru. You know,
Oh, Yusuf. That's
yeah.
true.
It was a good original draft, but you know, times had changed because he wrote it like in 2014, and then coming like to 2018, a lot of things had changed. That had to be updated. So
What, like elevator technology? Or what?
no, not even that. So
Damola.
we're basically using like Blackberries and stuff.
Oh, okay.
There are a lot of themes, like even the lingo at the time, the slangs, you know, how people were speaking and stuff. I know certain character development needed to happen, and you know, I took it as a challenge, you know, and I ran with it, and that's why I love my mentor, Mr. Ni. He sets challenges. He says, "Okay, this is the task. If you're able to accomplish this, there's this reward at the end." You know, so if I was able to write it in a way that he liked, then I was going to direct it, and I was like,
So one of the things that I find interesting is that Nee said this to me once. That like you used to see yourself as a writer.
yes.
That's actually and that's interesting. So why? Like why did you see yourself more of a writer than as a director?
Do you still see yourself as a
Yes,
writer?
I see myself as a writer because in my mind, I watch these movies before any other person. So I feel like, no one can tell this movie that I see in my head better than me. So the best way to put it is to put it down on paper. And you know, over the years, you know, my writing has been improving slowly. You know, I wish it improves faster, you know, but you know, it's been improving slowly, and you know, I've been writing, you know, better stuff. But I have this constant, you know, images of like picture of movies in my head. I just keep going, and I need to write it down. You know, I feel like that is why I have to be the writer on a project. You know, and yeah, and I like writing with people because there's certain things I see in my head, you know, and I put it down. People are like, "Oh, but there's loophole, yeah. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's true." In my head, there was no loophole, but on paper, there are loopholes, yeah. So let's fix it, you know, together. And that's why most of my films I've co-written, you know, them because there's power in collaboration and being open-minded to seeing how story evolves, you know.
Well, you say you collaborate with him so that he will speed up his writing process.
But we did.
But as proper.
No, so there was a funny story there. So when Akay came to me,
Yes, I remember that.
and he was like, no, this was in the outline stage.
Oh,
I think it was still outline. And he was like, he wanted a female lead, etc., etc. And then I eyed Akay because I remember DOD. Like, Akay's women are very in Akay's mind. So I said, okay, so this story about a lead female character who is going through life, I think it's useful for you to get a co-writer.
Yeah.
Pick whoever you want. And he was like, oh, Uyi. I was like, yeah, but she's busy. She's like, no, she's not busy. I was like, oh, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, because, you know, like
You see your life outside.
I mean-
Nora was the one that said she was busy.
Yes, but he was not like but that was you doing.
because we were scheduled at the time.
Wow.
Why are you busy?
People will still talk about men.
Were you busy?
You will.
No, first rule of men, we don't talk
You talk about men.
Oh, shit.
Hey, tell them.
Guys, they don't talk about men.
Nobody talks about men.
For those IYK.
Okay. So talk to me, Uyi. So do you see yourself as a writer or a director? Or an amalgamation at this point?
Your first film was what? The Father.
That I
you write
wrote.
The
Yeah,
Father?
I wrote The Father.
And you directed it.
Yes, I directed The Father. But that I did a short film first, hashtag The Fourth Side.
Yes, I remember that.
That's I wrote and directed. And I think I was still questioning myself at the time. And then it got selected to go to Paris. And then in my head, I'm like, this is where I'm going to be.
Which
Okay.
this?
So with this,
The writing and the directing.
Okay, so
but
you're a hybrid.
I'll pick directing first.
the children of creating
But you
directing.
didn't ask me if, like, am I hybrid or gold?
No.
Why is it a compliment?
I don't understand.
No, guys, no be
You had,
fight. No be
please,
fight.
you
No be
had
fight.
your mic.
You had microphone.
In fact, this is the mic.
They gave you microphone.
No, I
my
said,
time.
do you see yourself as a writer first or a director? You said you could have said both.
No, you didn't. I didn't put it on.
Please, let's move on.
Wow.
You
Can I
were saying,
continue?
continue, please.
Your time has
Right?
passed.
Yeah, so I did that. We went to Paris, and it was a life-changing experience for me because
How was Paris?
oh my, I didn't want to come back. Like, and at the time,
Why would
I
you want
went
come back?
to when I got back from Paris, I went to Lyon, like a week later for AFRIF. I got selected for their scholarship in Lyon. So I mean, everything in my head was just falling in line
place.
for me because I'd always questioned, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? It started with writing. When I got into Home Vida, I was like, if I get selected into this, then I know that this is where I have to be or I want to be. Then I got selected. That was where I met all my people, technically. Then Akay, I met on The Father.
Wait, you did not meet me.
No.
You are not in
Wait
Paris. You
now,
are not in
because all
Paris.
her people. She did not
No,
meet
wait,
me.
She has excluded you.
no.
But
When I meet my people,
All
you know when I meet my
geriatric
people,
I don't
millennials,
know.
stop
I
trying
meet
to
my
feel
men's
them
farm.
more.
My men's farm.
Okay, IYK.
But you are not in Paris now. Is it our fault that you are not in Paris?
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
Please, next time I'll be there.
Akay was actually, I met Akay first on The Father set. He was our BTS guy on the set of The
Yes,
Father.
that was his work that time.
And I wrote the script. I don't know. I think we got along.
Yeah, I was complimenting you on the script. I remember I read the script.
Why were you reading the script as BTS? Who gave you script?
I like reading.
You stole the
Don't
script.
value
Whose
it.
script did you steal?
Every crew member should read the script. You know
Yes,
what they're
please.
doing.
Yeah.
Please, you did the right thing.
Yes,
thank you very
always
much.
read the script.
Yes.
Yes. So
Unlike some actors that read just
just
what
At least they read their side of the scripts.
they're not just doing ad lib.
So yeah, I read the script and I was like, oh wow, this girl is actually really, really, really good. Like I liked, the way she staged the drama and how things were escalating. So I was like, okay, nice.
Oh, God.
I just pinned it in my head. So
You said you pinned it in your head.
So yeah,
Bookmark.
we were working on something at the studio, and Mr. Dean was like, which young, writer can you guys recommend? I don't want you to write it. I don't want you to write it. I don't want you to write it. It has to be a female voice and all that stuff. And I just said, Uyi, and Uyi showed up then, and wow. And then since then, we've been collaborating,
Yeah.
on
The
numerous
rest, they
stuff.
say, is what?
It's reality.
Yeah.
so
I just
that's
felt
it for-
10 years older.
So after The Father, what did you do next?
After The Father, I think it was Ineka that came up next.
Okay.
Ineka came up next. That's a very funny.
What was that
funny.
like?
I can't explain it.
You have to.
Yeah, a writer.
You have to.
Yeah, a writer and a
And a director, so please.
Wow.
So I literally just said this yesterday. Writers are the worst people to pitch a story or to explain stuff. I think
Yes,
we are always
yes.
confused.
What?
I agree with you, yes.
It's actually true.
Yes.
What do you mean, excuse me? Of course, do you think you are coherent?
Yes.
I don't
The
understand.
guy will not be talking. The guy will not be talking. They will not be going. Da, 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 da.
No, that is
No.
slander.
No.
That is slander.
Has
And
Naz ever tried to explain anything to you before? Then you start halfway. Then you don't be like.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
We are right. Please carry on.
Yeah,
Until
so
I refused to.
Carry on.
No, we're not carrying on.
Will you please
Moving
carry
along
on?
swiftly.
yeah. So
Out of the
Ineka
mouth of
Pretty
four people.
Serpent,
Yeah,
it first started with me. Mr. Chris is one of my mentors. I have 2 mentors in the industry.
Chris,
Mr.
what?
Chris Ode?
Yes, Chris
Yes, okay.
Ode is one of my mentors. And we had started the movement for Ineka at the time. And then he called me one night to write the sides for auditions. We had already gone back and forth on the story, so we already knew where we wanted the story to go and how we wanted it to be. So I wrote the sides for the audition and I sent it to him, and then he sent back some notes, I think, and then I changed, and then it started from there. Then one day, because I was already part of the writing team, and then he just called me one day and be like, yeah, you are writing the script. And I'm like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, so get ready. Then I wrote the first draft. And I wrote the first draft, I was like,
I killed it.
shit.
And then you submitted
Then
it.
go, no. And then I submitted it. And then we're going through it scene by scene. We're literally reading it scene by scene. And at a point, I turned off my camera on Zoom because it was during the lockdown. I turned off my camera. I'm like, yeah. I think I even cried at a point, Seth.
Because
The
they
bad
said it was
was
shit.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How can you say that? Who talks like this? Who? Oh my God. I'm like, wait, what did you do? And then I told Judith at the time, I was like, I think I'm not going
Judith
to write.
Audu.
Yes, Judith Audu.
Person.
At the time, I think I'm not going to write the script again. And she's like, what's wrong with you? Are you mad? This is your career. This is all you want. I'm like, okay. Then I did the second draft. It was now better. You know, I could smile a bit, but my camera was still off. Then they were like, the third draft needs to be good. I can't say I know where I went, but I know when I was done with the third draft, what's that thing that they say? I think virtue left me. Like I felt, wow.
You left me. But we can't tag this. Let's carry on. Maybe we'll tag this episode that you left.
I'm just saying, like after the third draft, right? Like I felt like I couldn't do more than
What you had done.
what I had done because I had,
Poured it all out.
like I was waking up at odd hours. I was sleeping and seeing snakes. I was, it was a
not
whole
one
lot,
snake in that
right?
film then.
And it was, that process started from, there is
Right. There's a
two actually.
Okay, two snakes showed up.
Yeah, the water and church.
Yeah.
See, we tried. I mean, the first thing I called the British Serpent, it was cats.
Yes.
There was no snake.
There was no snake.
And we gave people snake.
At least, you know.
We took the
You know-
snake. We took the snake.
Thank you very much. Right? So after the third draft, I wrote that script from lockdown till after lockdown. We're still on that script.
Because you shot in September, right?
Yes. So I literally left, I now left it for the script editor because he had to give to a script editor. Then I went to a rattlesnake set.
What did
And
you do on Rattlesnake set?
I was second AD and script editor.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, on rattlesnake.
So the script that you submitted versus what was shot, are they the same?
So that's always
Because
the
that's
question.
something
That's
for
always the
writers.
question.
It's always
No,
a
right
thing
now,
for
to get
writers.
over that, please.
Yeah, but let's ask the
And
question.
let's ask the writers in the room, please, and let's not talk about you. You're not a writer in this one. You're an
You have
anchor.
not even gotten over it. I don't know all this
No,
thing
but-
like it's posturing.
No, mind.
Excuse
Have you
you.
gotten over the writing and directing?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I've only directed one of the 14 films I've written. So if I had an issue with
But
it
have
being,
you
no,
gotten over it?
if I had an issue with it being changed from what I wrote, I would have been directing on my films. Like
Please,
AK.
He's
who's-
saying it as if, when things get changed, it's like, nobody's changing that. No.
No, so the
you must,
only
you must prove to me why this needs to be
the
changed.
only
Like,
script that
Drag
I,
What are we
him.
talking
no,
about?
the only script that I have been
Nice.
precious about changing stuff was arbitration because the language was very
You're
precise.
always precious, but it's not about you.
Hey, about
Back
to
to you.
Hey, let's talk
about
about
to
it.
drag.
Yes, I was going to say that like AK
Drag.
that only writes to direct. We
Yes.
know people like him.
Yes.
Bring your own Quentin Tarantino, please.
Thank you.
Take it.
Control is important.
Tell them.
It actually makes sense to write and direct your shit, man. Honestly.
Okay,
Tell
so
them.
now how was it directing Charge and Bill?
So
Since you did not write that.
You did not write it.
So it was. So it's not my first time directing a film that I didn't write, but
Oh, sorry,
it's
what
the
was the first
first
one?
time.
What's the first one that you directed that you didn't write?
What was the name of that film? Till There Was You.
Oh, okay.
So, but this was on a larger scale.
Okay.
It was scary because first of all, your writer is your EP. You really can't change lines, except you want to get
What did you
fired
say?
on
Please
the
say it
one.
again.
Say it.
You really can't change lines.
Louder.
No, but did you not change lines? I'm confused. Like, because you know there are rushes that prove that you changed lines.
Almost every line that was changed, I ran by you.
Yes,
though.
now, but
Exactly.
that part of it, yes. I'm not
No,
saying-
you see, but she didn't feel comfortable enough changing it on her own volition
No,
without
but she
running
shouldn't.
by it.
That's
Because-
not even it. the writer does not feel comfortable enough leaving his script to directors.
No, but no, you people, I mean, so anyway, let's keep going. But
Yeah.
Drag him.
slander continues. Like, I don't understand.
So yeah, it was challenging because the vision the writer has in their head is always different from the vision the director has in their head.
Yes.
Well, which is great.
But that's why I paid the director.
That's why it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah, it's great, but it gets us in the beat sometimes, right?
But why though?
I'm not sure.
So what is the thing that bumped you? So the way that I think about it is like, that whole thing about the film is made 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that the eye that you use to direct it and the eye that you use to write it should understand themselves, but they don't necessarily have to be the same.
Yeah.
So the question is, what did you when you took the script and when you were envisioning it, like how is it that you felt like the writing was an imposition on what you wanted to do? Like, or that you felt that it was freeing? So how did you view the house that someone else had built for you?
Well, first of all, the owner of the house was the owner of the house made it easy for me to come into the house and then view the house. Could I change the color of the parlor? I don't know.
Do I want to knock down this wall and make it bigger?
Change the flower pots on the table or something. I could do that.
You couldn't make structural changes.
And I really didn't shoot Charge and Bail the way it was written. Because in my head, if you give me a script and I shoot it the exact way it was written, I think there's a problem, yes. So I didn't shoot it that way. I think we even had a scene where somebody was questioning the location I chose to shoot that scene. And the person was like, but that's not what it says in the script. I'm like, yes, but that's not where I want to shoot it. Or I feel like this scene
Was that
should
director's
be.
license or something?
Well, it's usually poetic license.
Poetic license.
But you can give it, poetic
No,
license
but you see,
gives you
and that's
poetic license to say
but that's the
director's
thing, right?
license.
So, and I think that is the thing that writers also. So, like I always tell people, because I've had this conversation with a lot of directors, once you understand the intent, the choices are not the point. So the writing has to make choices because the writing is building pictures in your head. But a director, as long as they understand the intent of the choices, you can make changes. What throws a lot of writers is that the changes lose the intent. So the scene doesn't work in the end because you miss what the driver of the scene was. So you find that that's why the writer-director collaboration. So a lot of directors are like, who are writer directors are like, I don't want to be discussing with people about intent. I want to know the intent on the page. I want to know the intent when the camera is going. So but you have to just it's the same work. It's just like it's someone else that is doing the first one.
Like with Inaka, I think I went on set like 4 times or so. Me and Tosin were always talking. We were always in conversation. If he wanted to change anything, he used to beat me up and be like, what do you think about this? Can you write this in for me? Stuff like that. And I enjoyed that process very much because I felt involved with whatever it is that I had penned down and then they were shooting at the time.
So, okay.
That means you enjoy TV.
Why?
No, because the writer is king in TV.
Right.
As against the director in film.
Yeah, but isn't that also changing?
Well, only on the big ones when they bring like a big director.
Where the money is, Abi.
But essentially what I'm saying is that with TV, when you think about it, they have to run any change that the director and the team want to make on set by the writers. And if the writer doesn't send like a new script for that scene, you follow what was there already.
Yeah, but the thing is, I also saw it as a privilege for Tosin to, want to run all that. But he didn't have to.
Yeah.
Right? Because first off, it's not my script, it's not my story. It is also, it's a Tosin Ego film, but it's for a production company, right? So he had the choice to either do it the way he
did it the right. He did it
Or
the
run it by
right
the
way.
producer.
Yeah.
Or run it
He
by
did
the
it the right
producer.
way. He just knows what to do.
Exactly.
He knows the professional way to act. So, but sorry, let me now take you guys. Let me ask you first. There's the.
The microphone is now this.
So I want to know your relationship with actors, the difficult actors on set. Actors who feel like the interpretation that you're maybe in a scene where you're telling them to stand or what you're telling them to do is just not what they feel the character should be doing. And if it's what you want to do, how do you get them to, buy into your vision and do what you want them to do?
Well, I think it's always important to have like conversation with your actors before you get on set. Tell them, speak to them about characters, and let them know that, okay, this is what this character will do and will not do. So once you've created that foundation from the jump, once you get on set and the actor goes, oh, but I feel like in this moment, I wouldn't drop the glass. I think I'll still hold it. You interrogate that decision. You say, okay, so why? Why do you think that is? And you actually let them hear themselves speak. And if what they are saying doesn't make sense in that moment, you say, yeah, so that's the problem. This won't work because if you do this, it will affect this and this and this, and make them see reason. And if they see the moment they see reason, yeah.
But what if they're right?
So that's the thing is,
so
like, what if they're right? I go with it.
That's why you should say this reason. Say we. It's a collaboration.
It's a collaboration.
You young directors. See, I told her that or him that he should move the glass the other way.
No,
and then I was, we know you people.
You have just simply said, if they don't do it my way, they will never work in Nollywood. I don't understand. I'll move on.
You have the power.
And say with your chest. And say with your chest.
So let me ask you the question that came to my mind when I was listening to Zulu's question is this. How do you deal with the fact, especially now that you guys are doing bigger stuff, how do you deal with the fact that you are young relative to your talents?
So,
It
depends.
Because her face, right?
Yeah. I want to hear what she has to say.
It's hard though. So, well, first of all, let me just say this to the cameras. Some people are getting me from all the angles.
Yes.
I was and I am blessed to have worked with the kind of actors I worked with on Charge and
Oh,
Bail.
please, you're giving us a caveat.
No, I'm being serious. No, I'm being serious because here is the thing. They didn't make it seem like I was directing them for the first time.
Awesome.
Right? It was a very comfortable space, at least for me, to them, right? And Uncle Bimbo Manuel and Zainab had this, it's not weirdness, they could just throw a question at you, right? And you have to have an answer. So the days when I don't have answers, nobody's looking at me like, you're supposed to know, why don't you know? We are talking back and forth on how we should solve the problem or the challenge, right? So for me, well, for all the stuffs I have directed, no actor has ever made me feel, oh, I'm a young director, I don't know what I'm doing. But I've been on set.
It happens. And what did the directors in those situations?
Nothing. When their producer is their EP, what can they do?
You didn't tell them that I've been to Lyon, I've been to Paris. Have you been to Paris?
And so for me, I don't even care if you are the actor, or if you are the director, if you are the producer. Just respect people, right? You are all here to do a job. Just do your job, get the job done with peace and love.
So I had a very interesting experience working with someone older than me in my first film. Well, quite a few people actually. Tony Abraham, Shafi Bello, and
Yemi.
Yeah. The
Sholade.
Yeah.
Is that Solade?
Sholade.
The first time I met, Tony, she immediately made me feel like, we're guys. So the entire age thing didn't really matter. She was an actor, I was a director. It was strange for me.
She didn't do that whole thing where she calls you uncle. Hey, I'm now wondering.
So the first time I see that film, like she was saying brother. If I said brother at the cast field, and she was like, brother director, thank you for having me in this film. I'm like, this is me, bro. I'm talking to him like this. Oh my god. But we got on set, and she said, director, are you okay with that shot? I'm like, honestly, I'm not okay with that. I think we need to go again. And Sunny was like, she's pregnant. I'm like, the director wanted to go again. I'm like, okay, wow.
Awesome.
So I worked with Shafi, and Shafi was like, what do you want, director? And these guys are so professional. I don't think I've encountered, one,
Errant.
like veteran that has, confronted me, like that as a director. When I was an AD on some early jobs.
On whose sets?
And my beautiful and lovely Auntie Coco's set.
I don't really want. I thought you were going to talk about that.
Continue. Let's be great.
With somebody that I remember, I'm like, nope. No.
But you're AD now. What's your...
But the funny thing is, I don't think I've ever had a challenge with actors, even as a second AD. My challenge has always, not the older actors, sorry. My challenge has always been with the younger actors.
Right.
That's, to me,
Why
is
do
my
you think
challenge.
that is?
It's not a thing. It's something that has been happening or that has
So
happened.
why do you see it happening? Why
I'm
do
not
you...
sure.
Why do you think it happens? Or why did...
I really don't know. I can't say because
But
I
you
don't
know,
know.
ADs are also problematic because you're the ones rushing everybody around.
Because
we
that's
have
our
to,
job.
You have to be on set now.
It's our job.
We're going to miss daylight.
But I think one of the things about that, and something that we've discussed a lot internally, is that we need to figure out how to make everybody's lives easier. Yeah. Because these productions are getting bigger, the pressure is getting higher, but we are still a little bit stuck in the old way of doing things. And the people that bear the brunt of that are the cast and the crew. And in some ways, more the cast because they are idle. So at least the crew are active, they are moving, right? But the cast are stuck because it's one of those things where, so for example, in the old days, you would shoot, 15, 20 pages a day, and everybody's working, the cast, the crew, but now you are shooting 5, 6 pages a day, right? So cast can be idle for 3-4 hours, right? Because you need them to be around because you can't really tell, and we don't have that whole American, there's a trailer, there's a this, there's a that, where you can, so it's figuring out now that you are doing this more expansive shooting, how do you cater for the change? I remember there was somebody that we auditioned once, or we had come to a read, and I think Zulu told her that we are shooting for 17 days, and she was like, why are you shooting for 17 days? What are you people shooting?
That one's 5 is enough.
Yes, because and 17 days. I mean, I remember somebody was like, a lot of the new films now are shooting for 5 weeks, for 8 weeks, right? Like you're beginning to see our film starting to resemble, from a time perspective, Hollywood. But is the stuff that goes along with that? How do you keep people in comfort for that long? Is that bit...
I think that also, yes, there's that work that we need to do, agreed, as producers, as crew members, whatever it is, to keep people comfortable. But then there's also the orientation that actors need to start to have, where they prepare to be on set for these longer periods, because now we're actually staying for longer. It's not like we're not going to shoot with you that day, which happens sometimes. You actually bring an actor on set and then you don't end up shooting with the person, and that's when, it becomes really frustrating. But beyond that, besides that, if it's not that is happening, I think that all actors should also start to prepare themselves to wait for long hours.
Yes, but you have to make it comfortable for the waiting for long hours.
The double booking is one of the issues. It's like I could have been doing this
something else
because I'm doing.
But do we pay them enough to be single booked?
Well,
but even though this is not that podcast, because our directors...
But that's a big issue. That's a big issue sometimes, because sometimes an actor comes on your set and they're just jumping from another set, so they still have another character
in their mind.
So when they come to meet you, you are like on camera, like see the first take, you're like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah.
This is not the person that showed up on set yesterday. That might create a problem for you to solve. And I think the industry as a whole just needs to create just make people more comfortable, whereby you can do one job and stick to it.
Is the economy.
So I have a question to ask you guys. So as directors, and as an aspiring director myself, let's talk as director to director. When it comes to takes, for example, are you will do as many takes as possible to get it right, or are you will fix it in post? So what's your style like when it comes to takes?
Okay, my own is very simple. How much time do we have? Okay. If they say, okay, director, we don't have time in this location, or we have so amount of scenes to shoot. All right, cool. Let's try and get as like the best takes we can get in a limited amount of time. But the first take is always a good foundation to build from. So direct them before the first take. Once you see the first take, immediately you look at it and you're like, okay, good. This is not working. This is not working. This is not working. And you tell them, so this. We'll do this take that we're about to do one more, and then we'll do another one after for safety. But just try and get it right on the second take. We good? We're good. And we go. And then we see it happen. And sometimes you get it in the second take. I think my best takes are most likely my second or third takes. Because I've had time to refine you know, the
Different
performance. You know, sometimes the last take is just kind of useless, but sometimes the actors are tired. And I like director just do and go.
Well, for me, I always say in my
You guys are
head.
serious with this piloting.
I think it's good.
Okay.
So in my head, right? You know when you get to that location, when they tell you have 2 hours to shoot in that location, if you can take all your 10 takes in that 2 hours, it means that there is no need for you to be taking all the plenty takes when you have plenty time, because you will still take those takes irrespective of the time you have been given, and you will still sort of get what you want. So I don't like to waste time on takes, honestly. Once we do I do a rehearsal first.
Yeah.
After the rehearsal, I most likely get it the first time. If I don't get it first time, second time, then third is for safety.
Wow.
Literally, I don't.
Fast
But don't you
directors.
think that if you're given time, don't you think that if you're given time, you know, it's your responsibility to explore the scene further?
So if if I get a location and then they give me 2 hours,
Yeah.
right? At that time, I'm not even thinking of, I have to cover the wider. No. It is what is in that scene.
Yeah.
What is the most important thing to take in that scene?
Very efficient
What is
thinking.
the story that I need to tell in that scene? Once we are done with all of that breakdown and I can get most of the shots I want for that story in that scene, I'm good. I'm good. And I'm not really a fan of when you do wide, you have to now do medium, you have to now do
No,
senior.
no.
I'm
It's all about
never
what's-
exactly.
But the time is the complexity to be
Yeah.
honest, right?
So wait, so what you're saying there is that essentially you're shooting with the cuts in your you're shooting with the cuts
Yes.
in
No,
mind.
but you have to in
Yes.
Nigeria now. You don't have enough time to do otherwise.
Oh, no, I'm taking down notes.
No,
I'm
because if
taking
you
down
think
notes.
about it, right, the challenge you have is if you're giving people a 3-4 page day, then of course they can do for options. But if you're at a 10-page day,
Yeah.
your options are you have to be laser focused on these are my choices.
And there's somebody in Asaba saying 10-page days.
so
a
it
lot.
lends itself to prep. So, but it's also the type of story you're shooting, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
see, you can do a 30-page day in Nigeria if you are doing us like this. I mean, we shoot this thing for an hour, right? And we are done. You cover all your cameras, we are gone. You cut. We can do 30 pages of us talking. But if you're now doing coverage, so Damola, when you move your hand like this and do all that, you can spend you can do 2 pages because covering many people is also very long.
Yeah.
You can spend 10 hours covering this conversation as well. It's just how you choose to shoot it.
All right, so I have another question. So both of you had from your side, you had Chris, who was a guiding hand when you were
And
coming
Judith
up.
Audu.
And Judith as well. For you, it was Nee and Vicky. So
Oh, so you guys had
you guys had mentors, right? So
Well, he had husband and wife. He's lucky.
Business partners.
business partners. But you two had a male and a female
Yeah.
hand, more or less. So they're not husband and wife, but good.
Yeah.
So what I'm just saying is that, so what's the place of mentors? Are they extremely important? Are they a nice to have? Are they, so for you guys, I know that it might be the same answer for both of you, but let's see.
Okay. They are not extremely important to have, in my opinion. If you have, so having a mentor does not guarantee anything
Okay.
for you. It is what you want that the mentor sees that guarantees whatever it is that you will take home at the end of the day.
So I say that again.
Yeah, I need to
basically
unpack
starts
that.
from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, having my mentor, I have seen the positive effect of having them in my corner. That is because they also saw that I really wanted this,
Yes.
right? I've also seen people that didn't need mentors or don't have mentors, and then their names are making waves in the industry, right? So, getting a mentor is not something, you have to do the work. And then the mentor also has to do the work. So if you are going to now say, oh, Naz is my mentor, then it's only when you see in one meeting like that you used to talk. I don't understand what kind of mentorship program that is. That's not the one I know and I'm used to. A mentor is supposed to be literally involved in every aspect of your life, not just your career, your finances, your relationships, whatever. They need to know where you are going, who you are talking to, and all of that. So
So you think that mentors work or not. Like it depends on the person,
Yes.
right? So you might decide to have. If you
Yes.
do, great. If you don't, great.
Yes, and then you can
Okay.
also decide to drop the person if as a mentor, if the person is not pulling his or her weight. Like, as much as you're my mentor, you're giving me stuff, I'm also doing stuff, giving you value, right? So we are exchanging value. I'm not just sitting down, you're not just sitting down. So if nobody is pulling their weight, then by all means, let's move away.
Do you have the same answer?
Similar, but I think they're a bit more important than, she's like she said, they're a bit more important. I think having someone to lead you or guide you is extremely important in this industry. I think apprenticeship is extremely important in filmmaking. You need a master to show you what they are doing so you can follow. We have a saying where we say, follow patrimonial rules, so you have to look at, before you choose a mentor, you have to look, is this person doing what I want to do? Is this person at the level I want to be in the next 5 years? Can I learn from this person? And is this person willing to teach me? And the moment you find that person, you stick to that person. I think mentors are I won't say extremely important, but they are very important. They're very important.
So mentors or sponsors, right? Because they are separate.
Yeah, those are I was about to say. Like, so I don't think they are extremely important. So you can have people that will show you the road because they know road, but they are not necessarily your mentors.
Okay.
Right? They are just people that are designed by the university to be there at that time to show you that way, right? And again, in Nollywood, I like to say, I won't lie, almost everybody is just winging it. It's vibes and inshallah. I see everybody is learning this filmmaking thing, the marketing, the distribution, filmmaking as a whole, and all of that. So, again, I feel whatever it is that you do or you achieve is your hunger that will take you there.
Yeah, also, I think it's basically, you get out of it what you put into it as a mentee.
True.
So I think maybe what I should ask is, because of the people that are listening, right? Is
They end up where they are.
no, not even that. It is more, how do you choose a mentor, right? How do you, because I know that, again, this our industry is all about flash, right? A lot of people look like they know what they're doing, and a lot of people don't. You see on Twitter, the conversations that people have, the kinds of things people are saying, it's obvious to us where we're sitting because of the experience that we have.
And the person is talking bullshit.
But it's not obvious to a young entrant, right?
Yeah.
So how do you
choose a mentor?
choose a mentor?
Yeah, so who chose whom?
So
exactly.
Yeah, let me start from.
That's another one.
Yeah, so when I first saw, when I was 17 and I was thinking of this film thing entirely, I was talking to my best friend at the time, Temidayo. I was like, Temidayo, see, I want to be a filmmaker. I said, what kind of films are you going to make? I'm like, I want to do like films of Shango and Nora fighting and all these big gods and all this big shit. And I was like, oh wow, which Nigerian filmmaker is making a film like that? And I'm like, no more.
Question.
So I went home that day and I was just thinking about life. Then that week or a week after, I was watching STV and there was this, trailer, Kajola. I was like, oh my God. And I left the house and I ran to the guy's house. I was like, Temidayo, come with this film, Kajola, it's in the cinema, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, wow. This guy, his name is Next, he's in this film, blah, blah, blah. Then I think a week later, he was in the newspapers as well. I told you, took the middle page, went to my friend, I was showing him, okay, wow. Like, his sister is going to the cinemas, next week, tell her to go watch it. And his sister came back and told us, that the film was bad. I'm like, his sister doesn't understand what she watched, it's sci-fi, his sister doesn't understand sci-fi. But I didn't see the film at the time, but I believed in my mind that this guy was doing something that I wanted to do. He was thinking in a way that, I was thinking, I was like, okay, this is somebody that, is doing something I like too.
Before you go there, please tell the camera so Nii can hear. What did you think about Kajola when you finally saw it?
No, so funny enough, I watched it in the studio. It's the rest of...
And what
There's still a copy available.
On YouTube.
Oh, okay.
It's available on YouTube.
I'll
So
look
we
for
gathered in the studio, we watched it on YouTube, and it was like a roast of...
All right, then you can become serious. Okay, carry on.
So while I was in my final year, while I was in my final year of school, I was messaging him saying, look, I'm coming back to Nigeria. I don't know what I'm going to do. But throughout that time, I was messaging him on Facebook. You know, and I lied to him. I said I watched Kajola, I loved it. Like, an amazing film. You know, and I was like,
Note
Rule
number
number
one, lie.
Stroke the ego of your mentor to get in.
AKA
Oh
lie.
my
so I
god.
was like, oh wow, thank you. And that thank you was like, thank you, and that was period.
Wow,
I'm sure he
stop.
was like, oh, okay. You want me to continue on
So
this path
I
and
kept
die?
messaging him when I was in school that, oh, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, you know, and just share interests like films, talking about films that are coming, that time talking about the DC films coming up and everything. We're just fanboying. So when I was coming back to Nigeria, and I messaged him, I was like, yeah, when you get back to Nigeria, show me what you've done in school and then we'll talk. And I'm like, cool. And I went jobless for like 9 months. And then he was like, okay, come and meet him, I'm shooting something. And I went to his house, you know, and he showed up there in the boxers, you know, to meet me at the gate. And I was like, wow,
Yeah, that's
this
it.
is my...
In his boxers.
That's a different story.
Yeah, like, this is my... I looked at him and I was like, yes, this is my mentor.
So the boxers did it for you. I love
Like,
it.
this one right here.
What film was he shooting?
Yeah, sir?
What film was he shooting?
Meet the in-laws.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, so he invited me on set, and that's when I met the family, you know, and he said, you can come around the studio anytime you want, and I was like, oh, cool. So I was at the studio for like 3-4 months doing nothing, you know. Then Vicky was like, hey, what are you doing here? Go home, there's nothing to do here, go home. Then he was like, okay, instead of just sitting around doing nothing, be the studio manager. You know, make sure the place is clean, make sure there's following the gen, make sure there's this. And I did that for like 2 more months or 3 more months, and I was like, okay, you're very terrible at this. So we need to find something else.
Please
for
come
you
to set.
do. You know, yeah, you know. So I sent him a short script I wrote, and then he liked it. I was like, oh wow, you're actually good at this, you know. And why don't you come to? I think I sent it to you as well. The sci-fi stuff like so he saw it and I was like, oh, cool. I like it. Okay, well done. So come be my writer, and that was it. And he started mentoring me from there, you know.
So you basically found your mentor.
I chased him down. I hounded him.
He hunted him.
Yeah.
And what did you do, Uyi?
So I met Mr. Chris first at Home Vida. He had come to talk to us about film. And I don't know. Oh, I won his money.
What? Wait,
yeah.
what?
So,
Did you- what?
so
Did
he
you guys
gave
bet or
an
something?
No, he gave an assignment in class.
Oh, okay.
At the time that we should pitch ourselves to him as an executive producer, and then pitch ourselves as the story to him. And then he did this thing alphabetically, and of course I was the last person because of Uyoyo. And then I finished and I won the money and I was happy. And then something was just like, you know what? I think you should talk to this man more. So the next morning I showed up in his room and I showed him a short film that I had done. I was actually coming to the industry as an actor, not a whatever. But I showed him a short film I had. Me and my friends, we shot it on the phone. And then he was like, wait, you guys did this? And I was like, yes. We were like, oh, nice. Whenever you come to Abuja, let me know. I said, okay. I think after that program, I didn't even stay in Lagos for up to a week. I went to Abuja straight.
Focus, babe.
The minute I got to Abuja, I went to his office and he was shooting a series at the time for African Magic, Hausa. And then he was like, yes, so you're going to be my first AD. I'm like, huh?
What is first aid?
He was like, yeah, you're going to be the first AD. Then I went online, I read everything about being the first AD. I'm like, okay, I can do this. Then we started. I'm like, Jesus, I'm fucking up. Like, okay. But I mean, it wasn't that difficult in my head to get around things or to get things done. Like, I just loved being there.
Yeah.
As long as we're shouting, camera rolling, sound, let's shoot. Like, I liked it. Then, before I got into Home Vida, I had been telling a friend of mine that I really wanted to meet Judith. I don't know why, but I've always liked who she is. Right? And then she came to Abuja at the time. So I sent her a message. I was like, I would like to come and see you on set. She was directing something in Abuja. And she was like, sure, I can come anytime. But then I didn't hear from her again. I'm like, okay, maybe there goes my chance. Then a friend, Priediri, called me and said, oh, herself and someone else, they're going to see Judith. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. I'm coming with you. And then they didn't show up. I'm like, no, well. Then Judith was leaving the next day in the morning. And I had a deadline with Mr. Chris. At the time, we had finished the Hausa series. I was already writing something for him at the time. And then I was like, no, let me just go and see her. Let it not be as if. Then I went there. And then we started gisting. And it felt like I'd known this person for like 5 years prior to when I was just meeting. Like, it felt very easy. And then she asked me, what do I really want to be? An actor, a writer, or a director? And then I picked writing and directing. And she was like, okay. Then she got to Lagos. Then I sent her a short script, hashtag the fourth side. I sent it to her so that she can...
The hashtag is actually in the name.
Yes, hashtag
Okay.
the fourth side.
Okay.
Then
I thought that, okay.
I thought it was just an Instagram.
Social
yes.
media,
Yes,
something.
yeah.
I sent it to her, and then she goes, oh, I like it a lot. So you're going to direct it, right? I'm like, no, like I'm giving you so you can buy and then direct, so I can come to your set. She's like, no, I don't work that way. If you know you want to direct, just do it.
So did you go to film school? No. Woohoo! Let me tell you why I'm dancing. Because women usually struggle to go to film school before they
Oh
start.
God, no.
So that
Before
it
they
gives them
start directing,
validation
so that
for
they
the...
validate themselves. They feel the need to validate themselves. So awesome, well done, just jumping in.
Okay, did you go to film school?
Yes!
Okay.
There is
He went
nothing
to-
wrong with going to film
I mean, of
school.
course, there's
That's
nothing
the
wrong.
only
So,
way.
actually, let me say something, because yes, there is nothing wrong in going to film school, and you actually do need it. You know, if
No,
you
you
need
don't.
it,
I disagree, but go on.
Hold on.
Now there's something you to film school. Pick one side.
No, but I've always disagreed.
If you feel you need it,
Go.
go for it. There is nothing wrong in getting that knowledge any way you want to. Because the truth is, even directors that don't go to film school actually train themselves by reading, focusing on one or two directors that they feel they like and they admire, and then they educate themselves. So you actually do need an education on these
film.
things. But yes, that formal education for film, it's amazing that you didn't go, because most women feel the need to go, and fantastic.
So the only thing that I would say to that is that this is why I'm skeptical.
Must you disagree?
No, this is why I'm skeptical. I used to be where you were.
Okay.
But my problem is almost every director that went to film school says, I learned more making my first
Yes.
film than I did going to film
I
school.
learned more on Nollywood sets.
No, of
than I
course,
did-
because Nollywood's very practical.
No. It's not just Nollywood. It's even Hollywood direct.
Filmmaking is very practical.
Yeah, so you go and spend tens of thousands of dollars, and then they will say that so
That was the only way I could convince my parents, that I was going to leave Unilag, leave my post-science Unilag to go to do film school in South Africa. Like, there had to be another school I was going to. Like, not just let me say, packing my bags and I'm going to Tinapa or I'm going to anywhere to go. No, you still try us at home.
No, I mean, and I guess the formal way of making films is important, and you said you can learn that anywhere. But I just find it interesting that pretty much every director says that the practical experience is significantly more valuable than.
I'm going to throw it out to the audience. What do you guys think? Film school or no film school?
No film school.
Do the two of them still get you to the same
no film
market?
school,
No
self
film
is film
school.
school.
No film school.
No
self
film school is film school.
So the question is,
And
which
then
one
there's
gets you
no
to the
film
market?
school
Okay, so
dot
let's do it like this. Which one gets you to the market faster? Going to film school or without? Please let us know in the
There's no
comments.
fast.
Let us know. So
Anyone.
it's their opinion.
It's their opinion.
I guess, and I guess that's the other thing, right? Because you guys are younger, and that's one of the things that I also like about the new change in Nollywood, as that you are taking, and I guess it was actually the same thing with the older generation as well. But then we got more conservative, and now it's you're giving young filmmakers the chance to helm big projects, right? And so, of course, you're directing our projects, which by definition are big because they're ours. But it's not
Wow.
just. But
Just bring it out and just.
yes, now. But it's not
Say
just
it with your chest.
No, yes, but it's not just.
Sorry, when you
us.
say it with your chest, you don't
No,
do
and,
like this.
and my point is so it's not as if that we're the only ones doing it.
Yes,
I mean,
no.
and this is the last thing I want to talk about. You guys and your colleague, one of the things that I like is that you guys are doing a lot of lateral networking. So tell us about that and about what drives those conversations.
AKA, what is meant?
Well, it's not just meant and all the other.
So
yes.
here's the thing, first rule about men's is that we don't talk about men's.
If you know, you know.
So yeah.
IYK.
Yes.
Doing that. Because it's just showing how old you are.
But it's important to network across and not just up and down. This person, like a lot of times your mentors or your people that you work with ask you to recommend somebody that you know, and because you know how you guys grew together, you know each other's strength. Yeah, you can easily say, oh, this person is good enough for the job. So you can always recommend that person because you know you know, and by that way you're spreading the network, and you can't. It takes a lot to break through the glass,
Yeah.
ceiling, you know. So if you guys rise together, it's a lot easier, you know, to build a foundation because you are basically the same generation. You
When
know?
are we expecting something from Mint? What are you guys doing together? Because we need you to collaborate. You cannot just be using mouth to say, oh, I click, or we're guys. We know ourselves.
Soon and very soon.
No, I'm actually very serious because to be honest, that's one of the things that we find quite annoying in the industry where people want to go at it alone. You shouldn't. I don't think it's worth it. So if you guys have a clique of friends, then we might as well do this.
I mean, in my opinion, I think we started talking about something like that last year. Yeah. Then life happened to plenty of us.
Cool.
Right? We have.
We don't count. Last year doesn't count.
Started talking about it, and I very soon.
Yeah, but let me ask you, let me push back on that a little bit, right? So most of you are well, not all of you, but a lot of you are writers, directors, etc., etc. How do you balance? So the collaboration part is important, right? So how do you decide who gets the ball?
Is it your business?
I'm asking, but I mean, this is this. Are we not asking hard-hitting questions?
Share ball now. Let him learn how to
No,
share ball.
I mean, wow.
They will answer amongst themselves what I mean.
No, because
they don't know. Okay,
but it's an
let's
actual,
hear.
but it's an actual thing. Now, like,
Yeah.
so there's a question like, are you guys going to do the 4 rooms of it all and say we're doing a what's that thing
Like
called?
an anthology.
Yeah, it's an anthology. Yeah.
Well, it's possible. That's
It's a
When
very
the
hard
time
question.
when the time
when
reaches,
the time-
Because I mean, when
no.
you look at all these creator collectives, you find that like the reason why they had to all go there, like if you look at Spielberg, Lucas,
Yes.
De Palma, Scorsese, like that clique, they were all really close, but each of them had the stories that they were dying to tell.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to now put yourself there and then only work
Yeah.
with
Yeah, I think
yourself.
No, but they got to a point. They really like the only people that actually collaborated really were Spielberg and Lucas on Indiana Jones. Everybody
I
just
think-
eventually did their own thing.
I think there's something that we do a lot is that we're not really thinking about major collaborations in terms of like doing, you know, a movie or a series or anything like that, but we do what do you call it?
Look out for each other.
We criticize each other. Like,
Work.
like blindly, no holds barred. We go at each other's work and we tell you where you need to improve.
Awesome.
You know, and that's
And I think another thing for me with us is the industry is a very lonely place.
yes.
It is important you find like minds that are truthful and honest, you know, as people and then to their jobs and their career. And that is one thing I think we have as a group. And their friendship right now is probably what's keeping me sane in the industry.
Yeah.
Right?
Helps your
Because
mental health as well.
you can go
that's
lonely
good
1
community.
year and there's nobody to talk to. Nobody knows whether you're crying or you are not crying or you have money or you don't have money. Like we are those kind of people.
So, you have a movie coming out.
Lean
You have a
more.
movie coming out, right? Called
Yeah.
Superstar.
Yes.
Why should anyone come and see Superstar? Sell your markets.
Well, I think everyone should come and see Superstar because
shit.
this is a movie for you and you. It's a movie that everybody will enjoy because it's a story about personal struggle and triumph. You know, you get to see fame, you know, in a very glamorous way, and you get to see your superstars actually shine bright. It's a story that will connect with everyone because you see somebody rise from nothing to become something.
And
Grass
it's
to
an ode
grace.
to Nollywood.
And it's my love letter to Nollywood.
Hey, mwah, take it. Oh shit. All right.
I want to say
So-
my feel.
Better.
Uyi, you better sell your film because know your own is coming first. So Uyi, sell markets. Why should anyone see Charge and Bill?
Charge and Bill. Please come and watch Charge and Bill because of me and my family. We need it. Well, but that aside, I mean, Charge and Bill is, I won't say it's a personal story for me, but it is dear to my heart. It's about a girl that discovers or finds herself. And I mean, we're in a world where we are looking for ourselves every day. We are trying to find ourselves every day. And I hope and I pray that when you come, watch Charge and Bill, you will get an answer for yourself. So.
Oh shit. Say miss.
Amen. Message.
Amen. Message.
But it's
You'll
also
find
fun,
it.
no? You know this.
It's fun, no? It's fun,
This
no?
woman is a deep person, so she went into the theme of the film. But it's fun.
It's a fun
It's
movie.
fun.
Where at the
I
end of the
forgot to
movie,
add
you will
that
find
there's
yourself
fun.
inside the movie.
Favorite comedian there, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my actors, what? Stan Inze, Zena
Beautiful people, funny
Balogun,
people.
Tope Oloni, Chris Clown, Chi-Girl.
Chi
Come,
Girl,
are you kidding me? Are you kidding
Now
me?
you have to
Sell
mention everybody.
markets.
Everybody, come and-
Sell market.
Uncle Bimbo Manuel.
Sell market.
I mean, a host of
she said
others.
Zainab.
Yes,
No,
I
she
said.
said
Sodiq, Elozonam,
Sell markets.
Folu Store.
And on that note, we are just going to.
because she now does the whole credit.
I'll read everybody.
Written by.
Number one reason to actually come see.
Written by.
Okay, so now they're all being badly behaved. That's our time, folks. We love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.